It might have been very different if, at the very first meeting, Matt Hamilton, our driver in the spotlight this week, hadn't had this huge accident that resulted in a broken right leg.
Well, mentally, I wouldn't say it was a setback. I'd say it was a help, and it's really made me so determined to get back in the car. And I remember lying in my hospital bed with my leg in traction, and I was just determined I was going to get back for Brands Hatch.
Now, and through a long career in karts, Matt has been supported by his family, his parents, Steve and Bev, and sister, Kelly.
Even from when Matt was racing at 8 years old, we all used to go along together and support him. It was part of the fun, really. It's obviously a fair proportion of our family's budget and also a fair proportion of our family's time, so it's only right that we all enjoy the benefits, the highs and the lows.
When I was 9, we went into the National Championships, and for a first year in that, I can't say it went overly well, but from then until I left karting in 2005, I didn't leave the top 10, and that was good. At the age of 10 as well, I was impressed with myself and really wanted to go on further.
Last year, after a season in Formula BMW, Matt won the BMW scholarship in Valencia. So why then the move to FPA?
Well, this year it's obviously had a facelift, and there's so many strong drivers in it, young drivers, all with career aspirations, and that's really the deciding factor. And I just thought, with the cars all being equal, you really know where you're at, and it's fantastic value for money, and I haven't been proved wrong.
A broken rib ruined Matt's last year in karts, but it didn't lessen his mother's support.
I think his enthusiasm and his drive to race sort of overcame that, really, because he was so disappointed not to race, and that disappointment was evident throughout the family. It wasn't just Matt, but obviously he had to want to do it.
Did you have any second thoughts, though, when you had that terrible accident at Silverstone at the beginning of the season?
Not really. I think we were still very much guided by Matt. Steve and I both said to him the following day in the hospital, if you want to give up, that's fine. But he was absolutely determined from that, from the time of the accident, to say, it wasn't my fault, I don't feel I did anything wrong, I can get back in the car and drive confidently again.
Fitness is vital to any racing driver, but Matt in particular is trying to regain fitness from his early season accident.
When you're trying to compete at sport at this level as well, it is the fitness, and it's very difficult to attain the fitness and keep the fitness you need when you've basically only got one leg working. But since he's had the second operation and had that screw that was nagging him taken out, he's just incredible the way it's progressed, and he's really virtually up to Silverstone fitness again now.
Certainly with all the physio that's going on, and that's certainly the hardest and most painful part of my training at the moment, working on my right leg. But it's just something I've got to go through to get it back to full strength, and hopefully it won't be long until it is back to full strength.
The accident in April didn't only disrupt Matt's racing, it hit his schoolwork as well.
He's doing A-levels at the moment. He didn't do so well in his AS levels, but I think a lot of that was because of the timing of the accident. In a lot of the time when he was supposed to be doing coursework and revision, he was laid flat on his back in hospital. I
have to have something to fall back on, and I am doing maths, physics, ICT and PE at A-level, so it's a pretty academic choice, and looking back on it, it was a bit tough for me, but I would like to have my sights set on university and do something within sport that way, but obviously motor racing is going to be my first choice.
Whatever he decides to do in 2008 and beyond, Matt will have the support of a loyal family.
I have my own little fan club there, waving flags, but it's brilliant with them there, and when things go wrong, they're always there to pick me back up again, so I'm very grateful to them.
Qualifying as ever important, and Croft, a circuit Matt knows, having raced here before, he would end up third fastest.
I raced here last year in the Formula BMW Championship and scored some of my best results, so I'm pretty familiar with the circuit, and I really enjoy driving the circuit. It's a great challenge.
Lining up second on the grid is the man with one hand on the Champions Trophy, Tim Bridgman, second fastest.
P2 on the grid's okay. Seems to be a bit of a habit of mine this season.
And it's a circuit where you can keep out of trouble because you don't want anybody bumping into you?
I think last time I was here, I think I crashed out with 1 lap to go whilst I was in second place. I was in Formula 3, so it doesn't actually hold the dearest memories for me, but I'm sure we'll be fine this weekend.
A pole position after a disappointing run of races is Luciano Bacchetta.
Yeah, it's a pretty good result in qualifying, that is. I keep talking to you after qualifying. I'll talk to you after a race now. So hopefully I can keep it going.
So Luciano Becchetta is on pole position here as FPA returns to Croft. Tim Bridgman lining up second on the grid. And then our featured driver this week, Matt Hamilton, qualifying third. Ahead of Jack Clark, Alex Brundle again showing pace. He's fifth ahead of Richard Kent. Stefan Wilson, though, is a long way back, relatively speaking, on the grid. He starts seventh. Now, Tim Bridgman has got to be in the top 15 and ahead of Wilson to win the championship in this first race. He should be able to do that, while Tom Bradshaw is a long way back. Problems with the turbo in the first qualifying session. He is only 16th on the grid. So then, we're almost ready to go racing. Croft, a superb circuit. There's a great mix of corners here. There's some fast bits, some slow bits. 5-second board is shown to the drivers. Luciano Becchetta then in the Tradelink car is on pole position. Out go the lights, away they go. Good start by Becchetta, a good start also by Richard Plant as they go down towards the first corner at Clairvaux. A good start also by Richard Kent. You're on board with Alex Brundle. Turning into the right-hander, and Luciano Becchetta that has made a demon getaway as that's Bruce Hodges going wide and drops 2 wheels, then 4 wheels into the gravel, bounces out the other side. That won't have done his tyres much good, but that start by Luciano Becchetta, Rob Jenkinson, was a great start.
Yeah, perfect off the line there. It's great to see Luciano back at the front of the pack. He's been very dominant in qualifying over 3/10 quicker than the pack, so we should be able to see him if he can maintain that speed. We should be able to see Luciano pulling away in this one.
Everybody turning their way through Tower for the first time. Now, after his good start, Richard Planter's failure rather over the first couple of corners. He's dropping down the order. This is Matt Hamilton's view through the Jim Clark S's, and this is a pretty daunting part of the circuit.
Yeah, very, very quick through here, and the tyres won't be quite up to operating temperature yet, so you could hear Matt having to lift off there. But yeah, it's really quick. You've got to be bang on line or else you'll be straight off.
Race leaders then going up towards the complex for the first time. There is Matt Hamilton looking to try to get himself onto terms with the opposition as they come to the braking area now. And this complex, somewhere you've got to be so patient. It's full of slow corners, isn't it?
Yeah, some of the slowest corners on any UK circuit. This next one, tremendously slow. Some of the drivers will be going down to first gear, the only corner that they'll be using first gear from in the entire season, and then getting a good catapult out there onto the long start-finish straight.
Variety of lines being employed, 1 or 2 impatient, back on the power too soon and running wide. Max Snegerev goes through, Tom Bradshaw is ahead of him, and Jack Clark, as we saw at Donington, has this knack of being able to make good starts and then making the car pretty wide. He's keeping at bay there. Look, Richard Kent. Everybody through Clairvaux for the second time of asking. Now, the race leader is Luciano Becchetta. Tim Bridgman going with him, and Bridgman looking as though he should wrap up the championship here. And by rights, he ought to do that anyway, because of course he's had those years of Formula 3 and American experience. Former Formula BMW UK champion, won that in its first year. So Bridgman really is the benchmark driver in this. That's Chris Chubb, who so far is the only man, astonishingly, to have finished every race, isn't he?
Yeah, his consistency's been there, and the results have been starting to come in the mid-season and towards the end of the season. So I think if Chris can keep it up, so I think we'll have a top 6 would be a fantastic way to end the season.
Now there's Matt Hamilton turning his way through Sunny, a little bit closer there possibly to the back of Alex Brundle's car. And Alex, again, we've seen all season, has got the speed over a given lap or two, but he just still makes these mistakes, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he seems to be driving well here today, holding 5th position, and the lead is not getting away from him, so he just needs to maintain concentration, maintain consistency, and he'll be up there.
And that is Jack Clark spinning. Oh no, and he's been clipped. Was that Brundle that clipped him? Clark's gone around. Some go one way, others go the other side of him. Really frustrating that for Jack Clark. Yes, Brundle did clip him, and he's got a problem. Look, it may be that a tyre has gone down because of that contact. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like there's some damage to the wishbone there as well, so I think it's going to be a retirement for Brundle. Really not his fault there. And yeah, the tyre's probably flat as well. No steering. Yeah, he's going to be unfortunately out of this one.
And you can see it's all floppy there, broken suspension as you'd pointed out. So Alex Brundle, I'm afraid, is a retirement. Once again, he's shown his speed, but he's not been able to get a finish, and it wasn't really his fault. There's Jack Clark spinning.
Yeah, he had to make a choice to go left or right. He decided to go to the right-hand side, but just didn't quite make it because there's a car already there and just clipped him, so unfortunate for Alex.
Welcome back to Croft, the venue for the final races in this year's Formula Palmer Audi Championship, and that is Matt Hamilton gaining a place on the inside of Richard Kent as they go around the right-hander of Tower. The race is being led at the moment, though, by the man who started on pole position, Luciano Becchetta, with Tim Bridgman looking to wrap up the championship here, Rob Jenkinson.
Yes, I think he'll be fairly content in second position here. Looking in his mirror, seeing Stefan several places behind, so I don't think he'll risk any moves unless they happen to present themselves to him. But Luciano doing a great job out front.
Ivan Lukasiewicz there under real pressure from the car behind him in the hands of Tom Bradshaw. Now, Tom qualified way down the order in that qualifying session we had earlier on in the weekend. He needs to get a wriggle on here. That's Jason Moore going through. Jason's had one of these strange seasons. Some race meetings he's gone really well when he's adapted quicker to a circuit than at other places, but there he's losing out because Stefan Wilson goes on the inside of him and he goes through. Stefan Wilson gains a place, and now he's on the tail of Chris Chubb, and by rights you'd expect him to get past Chubb. Stefan has proved to be quicker than the former kart racer this year. On the boost, I think, there.
Yeah, he got a great exit from the hairpin, surprising because he had to take a compromised line on the way in, obviously overtaking Jason Moore, but got a great exit and boosted straight past Chris Chubb as well, so 2 overtaking manoeuvres within the space of about 20 seconds for him, but he knows he has to catch up to and overtake Tim Bridgman to continue with the championship challenge. As we see Derek Collin, local driver to Croft here, going on, just running deep into turn 1 and through the gravel, but getting away with it. There should be no damage to the car. Back on track, the tyres will soon clean themselves up.
Derek Collin, one of the gentleman racers that we have in FPA. Jeremy Preddy there is another of them. Jeremy in his first year of car racing as they come then now. That's Mark Powell ahead of the pair of them up towards Tower. And although FPA has evolved again this year for the career racing drivers, it's still good to have a few of the amateur drivers in the category as well, isn't it, really? Still enjoying themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's always somebody to race in Formula Palm Rowdy, whether you are a career driver or whether you're a gentleman driver. So it is a good balance, a good blend. So, yeah, something for everyone.
Now there, look, Richard Kent coming through the hairpin, went really well at Donington, but he's under pressure here at Croft because Stefan Wilson now is right on his tail as they come over the line. And Wilson again needs to be on the boost here, doesn't he?
Yeah, again, he gets a great exit from that hairpin, whether he is using a low gear, whether he's been more patient to get back on the power, but he doesn't tend to induce the understeer that some of the other drivers do. And an easy overtaking manoeuvre with that additional 60 horsepower down the start-finish straight.
And not only that, but having got the place, look at the way he's pulling away so readily as they come now through the chicane. That's Jason Moore on the limit, running wide is Chris Chubb, then Chris Bell behind him. Then you've got Ivan Lukasevich, and then Tom Bradshaw still trying to work his way through the order. But even with the ability to use the boost, Bradshaw's not finding this all that easy, is he?
No, you can only use that boost up to 8 times in a race. A late overtaking manoeuvre there, however. I don't think Ivan expected that one. Is he going to make it stick? It looks like he's not quite got the overtaking manoeuvre finished yet, and he's on the wrong side of the track for the next left-hander. So Ivan holding on to his position there will have to wait, or Tom will have to wait for another opportunity.
Down through Barcroft they come towards Sunny. If anything, Bradshaw's dropped back a length or two, I would suspect there. And of course, Lukasevich in this frustrating situation. He's trying to defend from Bradshaw, but while he's doing that, he can't really concentrate on closing on the man ahead of him. Chris Bell in the Clanzan car, and that's Lukasevich going off the road briefly there.
Yeah, maybe paying too much attention to his mirrors. A strange place to go off there, just running it wide on the exit. It shouldn't really happen there. As we see Matt Hamilton closing right up onto the back of Bridgman. So this will give Bridgman something to think about. He just wants to run round with no cars around him. In fact, he may even let Hamilton pass because he doesn't want to risk being taken off the circuit and have a DNF. And then he does let Matt Hamilton going straight through. So now Bridgman, plenty of space behind. He'll just follow Matt round, I would suggest.
Yeah, Tim using his brains in all of this, isn't he, to make sure he wins the championship, irrespective of his race position. It's the championship he's thinking of, as long as he's in the right place for the points. Derek Collin there after his gravelly moment earlier on coming through. Good at the battle behind with Jeremy Preddy.